You ever have one of those days where the sky's perfect, your coffee's hot, your horse is ready, and then someone decides your peace is a personal offense? That was the day Beverly Thorne, president of our local HOA and self-proclaimed queen of suburban order, called the cops on me for riding my horse on my own land. Yeah, that happened. I was out on Hazel, just taking the ridge trail like I've done 100 times before. The wind was soft, the air smelled like cedar and rain, and I remember thinking, this is why I stayed. Then I saw the drone, red light blinking like a mosquito that cost $1,200. Beverly's favorite toy, always zipping around the property line like it owns the air too. I stared into that lens and smiled. Because what she didn't know, what she never bothered to ask, was that her view, that stunning panoramic ranch scenery she brags about in her home listing, that's mine. Every tree, every stone, every trail, bought and paid for years before her kitchen backsplash was even grouted. An hour later, flashing lights rolled up my driveway, and out stepped Officer Barlow. He looked confused, like he expected a kid with a six-pack and a dirt bike, not a woman in her 40s holding a saddle and a calm stare. He asked if I was trespassing. I said, "Officer, you're standing on my land. That trail, that ridge, all of it." He blinked. Then Beverly stormed over in that big sun hat she thinks makes her look important, screeching about codes and community safety like I'd galloped through her living room. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I handed Barlow a certified land survey and let him read the truth for himself. Her face twisted when he said, "Ma'am, she owns all this." It was quiet for a beat, the kind of silence that lands like a gavel. I just turned Hazel toward the barn and left her standing there in her sandals and outrage. But see, Beverly wasn't done. 2 days later, I got a letter from the HOA claiming I was in violation for allowing livestock activity visible from shared community spaces. I laughed. Then I framed it. First real laugh I'd had in weeks. Then came the twist. One morning, I found the south gate open, the one that leads to the old grove where I buried Jasper, my first stallion. No one goes there, not without knowing. But someone had, and they'd left a name scratched in the dirt. BF. Just 3 letters and a heel print, but it hit like a punch. That's when it got personal. I didn't yell. I got ready. Called in a surveyor, upgraded the fencing, installed motion sensors and a reinforced gate near her property line. Nothing flashy, just final. And while I did all that, I made one quiet call to Trisha, a real estate friend with more connections than the power grid. Told her I needed info. Fast. What she found? Gold. Turns out the HOA's fancy little clubhouse, it was built half a foot into my easement. Their access road? Technically mine, thanks to a lease that lapsed after the utility company folded. Beverly had built her entire HOA fiefdom on land she didn't even own. I didn't sue. I didn't shout. I built 12 feet of privacy fence, stretching along the ridge she used to wave from. It blocked her view and her power. When construction began, neighbors peeked over hedges like it was a soap opera. Beverly sent more letters. I ignored them. She filed a zoning complaint. It was dismissed within a week. Then one morning, I found an envelope under my gate. 5 words. We didn't know. I'm sorry. Not signed. Not from Beverly. I knew her handwriting. But it came from someone up there who finally saw the truth. It didn't fix everything, but it meant something. Beverly's house went up for sale a month later. Secluded, it said in the listing now. No more mention of the view. The new neighbors? A retired couple who birdwatch and bake bread. They wave when they pass. That's all I ever wanted. Peace and respect. Now here's where it gets a little more human. A week after she moved out, I got another note. This one was from Beverly. Her handwriting, tight, precise, a little shaken. She wrote that she lost her daughter years ago. Said she spent her life trying to control everything because chaos once took everything from her. Said watching me ride across the land made her feel something she couldn't name. And by the time she realized it wasn't about me, but her, it was too late. I read it 3 times, then folded it and placed it in the same drawer as my dad's pocket knife and my mom's rosary. It didn't excuse what she did, but it softened the edge just enough. That winter, I renamed the Ridge Trail, officially. It's now Wilder Line, after my folks. The county approved it without a blink, and I filed paperwork with the Conservation Trust to preserve the southern boundary. No development, no resale, no HOA hands, ever again. Last week, I hosted a barbecue. Just local ranchers, the rescue folks helping me rehabilitate 2 new mares, and the neighbors who never judged, just watched and waited. We grilled ribs, played guitar under the barn rafters, and passed around my grandmother's stew kettle. No HOA talk, just stories. Real ones. And you know what? That fence, the one I worried might divide too much, it didn't separate us. It defined us, like a backbone, like a line in the sand that says this far, no further. So now I'm asking you, watching this, what would you have done? Would you have fought louder? Stayed silent? Built the wall or left it open? Tell me down in the comments. I want to know where you stand, on land, on legacy, on how we deal with people who try to fence us in. Because sometimes the strongest answer isn't war, it's a fence. Tall, quiet, and unshakable.